Welcome to Uncaged. Today we're speaking with André Bastos. It's great to have you on the show, André. I'm excited to learn more about this business that you have co-founded. André is the co-founder of OpenCo. We're going to be talking about how OpenCo has helped individuals, customers, families deal with lovely inflation. André, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Sure. Thank you again for having me here. I'm originally from Brazil, from Rio de Janeiro. I started my career, I'm an industrial engineer, and I started in venture capital. Was a public company in Brazil, a VC company called IdeasNet, that just after the tech bubble in 2000 had a portfolio of 20 technology, media and technology companies. So I worked there for 5 years. Then I started my own fund called Panema Ventures, doing some angel investments before I moved to the US to do my MBA at the NYU Stern in New York. In New York, I work at HSBC doing M&A, investment banking, and also I helped start a fund that's well known in Latin America now called Valor Capital Group. After that, I moved to Chicago. My wife is from Chicago, so I moved to work in Chicago in a company called Innova. Was a fintech company where I got more familiar with the fintech environment. I work at Kraft Heinz. After they did the big merge, they moved the headquarters to Chicago. And after that I start Rebel. That was the company that I co-founded in 2016. And the idea was, as you mentioned, man, Brazil has the highest interest rates in the world. So we wanted to use technology to provide better credit for Brazilians. And it's been a great ride since then.
André, it's a really interesting company that you started. And going into the creation of OpenCo, which is a bigger player clearly in the market, tell me a bit more as you were kind of starting to about the need for this type of solution and then what specifically OpenCo delivers.
Yeah, and the name open comes from open finance, open banking, the concept that the individual owns its own data and you can share your data to have like better interest rates or better price. So that was even the idea of the name. So we use the data in favor of the consumer with his approval. And what we're trying to do is like using that data to better underwrite and provide like better interest rates, because the need, we always say like everyone needs like cash, needs money with this inflation to pay the bills or to fix a car or to have like a health issue. And we want to provide affordable credit and more tools that the consumer can understand his financial life. So that was our big purpose. And we put in the market more than $200 million in credit for Brazilians along those almost 10 years now.
I love it, André. And I guess I want to kind of tweeze through it because I've been fascinated by this topic for years. You know, it's very hard for a lot of people to get good credit, to borrow money. And many times those individuals actually have the characteristics of great borrowers, right? They pay their loan payments on time, they work, they have steady income, things like that. Tell me how you guys built your model, and do you feel like you're able to start to see a change in the industry and how we evaluate people for this stuff?
I think the change is happening and even going to a broader space in terms of like fintech. I think what happened in the last decade was a little bit of the unbundling of the bank systems. The banks got too big, and then you have more fintechs or startups focused on one specific segment to do better. And now what you're seeing is like the bundling again. A lot of like big banks, because of the macroeconomic environment, buying fintechs and actually offering that better product. And there's a lot of to talk more about that. But in our case, I think Brazil, we didn't have like a credit bureau as strong as with the credit scores in the US. So we are getting like the raw data and letting the machines with the machine learns and the artificial intelligence really figure out like what is that credit profile. and understand what was the needs. And sometimes even like take chances with the trial and errors to see, okay, if I lend to this person, he's going to be paid back. If not, like why? So it took a little, we used a lot of technology to have shortcuts to learn faster and be able to put that capital out there and improve our models.
So, I mean, it's such an interesting space, and the economic landscape is changing so quickly right now, Andre. Tell me a little bit about what are the topics that are most on your customers' minds right now?
Yeah, as you mentioned, inflation is a real problem right now. And to know if you're going to have the income, the resources, even to pay your latte in the morning. We were talking a little bit before here how the coffee got much more expensive. So it's it's a real concern. And you can
Well,
use,
I mean, come on. I think, Andre, you and I are going to start this. Do it. This is just to help the listeners track this. Andre and I were talking about how the Economist has their Big Mac index. We are going to do our Starbucks index with the price of latte, which is dramatically cheaper in Europe right now compared to the States.
yeah, and I mean, in Brazil, we are all coffee drinkers. We drink like coffee every along all day, so it's a hot topic there. But as you're mentioning, like it's very important, like for you to be able to uh, plan and be able to pay for the expenses, and credit can be a piece of that. And we really like giving the tools for the consumer understand better and have like that credit when he needs, and with in this case like unsecured, so there is no that's even harder for you to measure when you don't have a guarantee against that. And in terms of like challenges for us as a fintech, we are not a bank, so we don't take deposits. Another hot topic that was going on right now was like even the bank run, people not trusting the bank system anymore. And but as a fintech, we only focus on the liability side. So we go to the capital markets, we raise capital, we have a little bit of higher cost of capital than the banks, but we prove that our models are working. And even though we have a higher cost of capital than the banks, because of our technology, our models are so much better, we still can offer better prices for those consumers. And we have like a lower cost in terms of like operation, how you run the company, because it's not a legacy technology, and we can offer that like cheaper and more affordable for the consumers.
So, Andre, let me change gears a little bit, because I think your path with this business has been really interesting. You merged together two companies, right? And so, one of the things that I find particularly interesting, I spend a lot of time working on, is culture, business culture, how that plays a role, how you weave in topics like sustainability, et cetera. But bringing two companies together, wow, that is a culture challenge. Tell me a little bit about kind of the challenges there and how you guys tackled that stuff.
Yeah, that's a great question. And we merged the companies right when COVID started. So we were competitors, but when COVID, we looked to each other and say, oh, we are not sure about the future with this pandemic. We are attacking the same problem that the consumers need, like better credit. Why we don't join forces, like working together through that same problem? So I think we have the same purpose. We were attacking that issue in different ways, and the other company, Giru, was more have more strength in terms of like the capital markets, the financial, and Rebel was more the technology, more that driven using really tech to create like better models. So for us to do that merge was getting like the best of both companies and combine those synergies. And in terms of that culture, it's very challenging in terms of like doesn't matter what, if you are a technology company, but it's like a people, it's about people, and people have their feelings and how you address that. So one thing that we did was over communicate, like make clear what is the strategy, what is the plan, what's going to happen. And when we don't know, be able to say like we don't know right now, we're going to research, but be very transparent with the employees. And culture is not only what you have behind your wall, what is your values, your mission, that's important, but it's how you act day to day. And people really perceive that. So you really treat employees like with the open doors and always be able to answer. And we were doing a lot of like town halls and Q&A to be able to those two companies and have like one culture. And that's why we had a new name that was not Jeru, was not Habel. We still have those both brands, but with OpenCo, and the name Open is within our culture too, that we are open to questions and open to business in that terms.
That's nice. It's such an interesting process to go through because it really matters to people. They want to feel part and connected with that idea of what you're trying to build going forward, and overly communicating is absolutely critical. Well, Andre, I mean, as you look forward now, here we are in 2023. As you mentioned, over the last period, we've already had some bank challenges and lovely credit issues. What's on the docket for you guys this year?
Yeah, we're gonna keep the market is like changing so fast. So right now, interest rates are rising. Before was like a growth play. Most of the startup was like grow. Now it changed gears in terms of reduce cost, keep your runway. So OpenCo, you're lucky enough to raise capital just before the crisis. So we have like a 2 years runway of cash, and we are using that to build new products, like to build new tools. So when the markets like get better, our consumers are going to be able to see a great experience with our app and how they deal with OpenCo. So we're using this time to invest, to do more improvements and really listening and understand what are the consumer needs. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of big companies end up like not focused as much on the needs, and we're taking this time now to really understand and improve our product.
Well, I mean, Andre, never a dull moment, and certainly a very exciting space. And congratulations on how you have built OpenCo. If someone wanted to learn more about what you and the team are working on, where's the best place to get in touch with you?
Sure, I think I'm available on LinkedIn, André Bastos. You can find me, and I'm happy to chat over there. And our website, if you Google like OpenCo fintech, you're also going to be able to find us there.
Excellent. Well, Andre, thank you so much for being on Uncaged today. We've been speaking with André Bastos, a co-founder of OpenCo. We've been talking to him about the creation and building of OpenCo. It's an online lender in Brazil, helping people deal with the lovely challenges that we all face in the ever-changing financial markets, and handling issues like inflation going forward. Andre, thank you so much for being on the show, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you. Appreciate.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.